Good morning, everybody. So there are four main biases described in our text, and that is prior hypothesis bias, representative bias, illusion of control, and feelings of personal responsibility. So just some personal examples for each. For prior hypothesis bias, one example in my personal life was when I was a little kid, I wanted to do everything that my brother did. And when I was little, my brother would go hunting with my dad. And I always said that I wanted to go hunting and I wanted to go with him. Although, as a little kid, I never wanted to sit still, I never wanted to be quiet, and I just never wanted to go into a situation like that. So, eventually, my dad took me when I was about 6 or 7 years old, and I sat in the stand with my brother and my dad, and I hated it. They kept telling me to be quiet. I did not want to be quiet, and I did not want to sit still. So I just annoyed all prior evidence of experiences that I liked and disliked. For representative bias, a personal experience that I have is similar to the example in the text or in the online lecture, but I was always afraid to fly. My parents never took me on a plane as a kid. I just did not have any experience with flying. And in high school, I watched the series Lost, so there was kind of an irrational fear that I was going to be trapped on an island, or an island would trap me, as in the show. So I was always afraid to fly because of that, which plane crashes do happen, but the odds are very low. For illusion of control, I would say a good example would be that I am on the DBU track team, cross country team, and sometimes at track meets, we get really hyped as people are finishing their race, thinking that if we scream loud enough, they're going to pass whoever it is that's in front of them, and they're just going to finish better, which is not true. It's up to the runner to decide if they're going to run faster, mentally, physically, those kinds of things. For feelings of personal responsibility, I would say that an example of this is that I used to work at a rec center over the summer and with kids. So one day we were cleaning up in the gym and I had picked up a hula hoop. And I was just picking some things up in the gym and I'd already told the kids they needed to line up or they needed to be helping clean up. And this one little girl, she just decided that she was going to keep running or playing whatever game we were playing. So I had the hula hoop in my hand and part of it was still on the floor. And as I'm picking it up, she runs by, gets her foot caught in there, and just eats it on the ground. And she cried a lot. They eventually carried her out of there, which later on she turned out to be fine. But I always felt some kind of personal responsibility for that, even though she was nowhere near the hula hoop when I picked it up. And I had already told her to line up. She wasn't doing what she was supposed to be doing. But I felt responsible because I was holding the hula hoop and she tripped. So those would be my four examples.